Barkley was spot on. That may be the understatement of the night. Wild. In the pregame, predicting Keegan would score 30 and Sacramento would win, or at least that's what it would require. I don't know if they needed all 32 from Keegan tonight, but that's what he got. The Sacramento Kings live to see another day. They will move on to play Friday night in New Orleans. We'll have that winner-take-all game on TNT. The Pels Kings winner will take on the top seed Oklahoma City Thunder as we welcome you on into Playoff Central. That's Greg Anthony, Steve Smith. I'm Jared Greenberg. Coming up in a couple of moments, back out to Golden One Center. We'll hear from the Kings and we'll hear from the Warriors. There's going to be a lot of questions asked. Is this the last time we saw the dynasty together as a group? A lot of those questions probably can't be answered tonight. But what a shocking turning of events here, Smitty. You know, this is a team that the Warriors had owned in these big moments over the years. It had been the Warriors in Northern California for all these years. And wow, for them to go down in this fashion, be down by as many as 26.
Yeah, I look at it, GA. For you, the Warriors, they probably wanted Malik Monk and Herter to play. Probably came in, took him a little light. Mike Brown was easy. He cut the lineup, the rotation down to just 5, 6 players. And then everybody like Ellis, Keegan Murray, they know they weren't coming out, young guys, so you can get a chance to play through your mistakes. And Keegan Murray, I give him a lot of credit. He's had these type of nights. They went through him like a #1 option, and everybody else played their role. Ellis did a phenomenal job of guarding Steph Curry with also the game plan, the double teaming him, getting the ball out of his hands. But Keegan Murray has size. And what I'm impressed, GA, power forward at Iowa, but being able to put it on the floor and shoot it the way he's shooting. Keegan Murray, I think, is the future for the Sacramento Kings as probably their third option solidified.
Well, I'll tell you what. He looked more like a second option. And I think that's something else that's, I think, going to be critical for them moving forward. In the absence of the injuries, the fact that he was so assertive and aggressive early, I think it really kind of set the tone for Sacramento, gave them some confidence. You knew De'Aaron Fox would be aggressive. You knew he could have some success. Sabonis maybe not going to be a huge scorer, but he was going to find a way to have an impact. But you had to find offense in other areas. And the other thing that was really impressive for me is, you know, Golden State came into this game leading the league in rebounding. And for the most part, they got manhandled on the glass. You know, they gave up 15 offensive rebounds in this game. And what had been a strength for them all season had become a weakness in this game. And then, obviously, the fact that they just offensively, the Warriors, they couldn't find anything. I'm still shocked that Klay Thompson didn't make a field goal in this game. Like that, listen, he's such a great player, has had such a great career. We don't know what's going to transpire after this, but I would just hope that that's not the last time we see Klay Thompson in a Golden State Warriors uniform off of that performance.
Wild. I mean, think about this. Klay Thompson, 0 for 10 tonight from the field. He had played 882 games in his NBA career with 10-plus field goal attempts entering tonight. This is the first time he went scoreless, ever going scoreless.
Yeah, and usually you might not shoot it well, but you get about 8, 9 free throws. I mean, for him he didn't get to the free throw line at all. Couldn't make shots. Also, you throw in Andrew Wiggins, too. He was 4 for 11, but that's not the type of effort they need from him. He hasn't been Andrew Wiggins since they won a championship. Steph Curry, a lot of pressure on him, made him be more of a point guard. He had to handle the basketball. Draymond didn't play bad, but I think also you look at guys coming off the bench, they just didn't have enough. And then for me, Keegan Murray, it's unbelievable. They had no game plan for him. They didn't have a guy that could guard him one-on-one. They didn't have a scheme that could stop him. And I think speed of De'Aaron Fox really destroyed them.
Well, think about it. The Warriors' defensive game plan got blown up in the first few moments when they had Trace Jackson-Davis try to defend Harrison Barnes. That didn't work. And he was part of that lineup that was so successful that got the Warriors to the 10 spot and put them within a game of getting into the 8 seed, right? And then Trace Jackson-Davis had to come out, didn't play the rest of the game, and the Warriors had to go to some different lineups here. But for me, you know, you're talking about, and I don't want to take anything away from the Kings here, but you mentioned Wiggins inconsistent, missing those big 2 out of those 3 free throws that looked like the Warriors may get some momentum when he got fouled on that flagrant 1 3-point shot. Steph Curry, Draymond Green, both stepping out of bounds at terrible times. The turnovers by Curry, which has always been an issue. It just seemed, GA, like it just the turnovers are one thing, but the uncharacteristic mistakes of a veteran-laden team.
Yeah, and I think that speaks also to a team that I think that's pressing.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. You know, listen, they still were reliant upon rookies having a huge impact in this game. And two young players and rookies that had played really well for them over the course of the season on this stage, that's a lot to have to ask for those guys to play really well. When you've got a veteran-laden team, when you talked about having a guy like Andrew Wiggins who didn't have the kind of performance that you needed tonight, not having Klay Thompson have the kind of performance that you needed tonight. Listen, these are games when you go on a road, must-win situations, single-game elimination, almost like a Game 7 mindset. Those are the games that you need your best players to step up. They give those other guys confidence. And when those guys don't play as well, puts a lot of pressure on that supporting cast.
Again, we're going to go back out to Sacramento. We're going to hear from both the Warriors and the Sacramento Kings as the Kings live to see another day. We have just received a bit of an update on Zion Williamson from Shams Charania of the Athletic and Stadium, calling it a hamstring injury for Zion. So here's the update that he is believed to have suffered a left hamstring injury tonight. That is obviously, as you heard Stan Van Gundy say, there was no way it was left leg soreness, right? He wouldn't have left the game for left leg soreness. There will be imaging done on Wednesday to figure out more. But obviously, listen, whether Zion plays or not, that changes the dynamic of how the Kings look at this, Smitty. But the Pelicans are used to, at this point, playing without guys. They played many times over the years without Zion. They played a lot of this season without Brandon Ingram. How much do you think the Kings need to pay attention to whether Zion's there or not?
A lot. I mean, who matches up well with Zion Williamson? He changes your whole game plan defensively because you got to double him. You got to build a wall and another wall behind him. Without him, it just becomes easier. You don't have a dominant guy other than Valanciunas if he gets rolling down the paint. I don't know if you could just beat up the Sacramento Kings, physically without Zion Williamson. Brandon Ingram not being himself, so he's going to have to knock down jump shots. And then me and GA talked about it. They don't get easy shots. Zion Williamson is their guy in the paint, and he's their point guard. And I think now without him, it's going to be a little tough.
All right, let's take another look at the score here. 118-94, wasn't even that close. The Kings won, led by as many as 26. You got to imagine this was a really extra special sweet win for the Sacramento Kings, particularly for one Harrison Barnes, former champion with the Golden State Warriors, and now moving on to take on the Pelicans. Harrison, thanks for joining us live here on Playoff Central on NBA TV. With what you guys have gone through over the years against the Warriors, particularly the heartbreaking fashion last year, obviously your goal was to win no matter who you were facing. But does it add a little extra sweetness to the factor tonight?
I mean, we knew it was going to be a challenge tonight. Coming into last summer, we were thinking about that Game 7 loss, our preparation this season. And, a big thing for us is we knew that we were going to have to go through one of these opponents to get to the playoffs and in the playoffs. So to get this win tonight was big for us.
Harrison, Steve Smith, you've been around a long time. Talk to me about when there's no Malik Monk, no Kevin Huerter. As a player, you're knowing you're going to get 35 to 40 minutes in a big game. How comfortable are you when you can go out there and just play and knowing you're not going to get pulled?
I think the biggest thing for us was just staying poised. We played this team a lot. We know that they can go on runs. I think for us, just with the emotions of the game, the history between the two teams, I think for us it was just a matter of just staying poised, continuing to just do it by committee, and just not getting caught up in all the fanfare.
Harrison, Greg Anthony here. Go Heels, baby. Go Heels.
Yes, sir. Go Heels.
Firstly, you sitting up here, when you first came on, man, you had the look of somebody that had just lost the game. I mean, you were so serious and you seemed to be a little solemn. Listen, you have history against this team. Obviously, you had great history with them as well. And I know you want to stay in the present, but for you personally, is it somewhat personal because of how things went there, even though you're